Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today, I wanted to just talk about something that might be a little uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, I kind of like to address this uncomfortable situations anyways because, it's fun. I really want to see how the community reacts to some of the things that I say because I spend a lot of time actually doing a lot of research. Just as you guys spend time, watching my videos, I try my best to spend time responding to them, reading your comments, and if you think I don't read your comments, I do. Sometimes I may be reading them on the go, so I don't have time to respond, but I really do read a lot of them. I don't read all of them. It's quite impossible too because some of them come months later down the road on some videos that I'm like, oh, those things have changed. So that's kind of the issue, with those. But a lot of the community concern right now is, what's the status of the community right now with the division? Some folk are saying, it doesn't seem like there are a lot of people playing the game. It seems like the viewership is down and it feels like, some people have just finally checked out and all of that stuff. But here are a few things that I feel like will really, provide some insight to that. And that is, number one, a lot of division agents that enjoy the game do not need anybody's consent to play the game. They're actually either playing the game or not playing the game. But it doesn't really, in a sense, weigh in with if they like the game or not. If I open my Uplay every day and on Discord, there are people always playing the games. Viewership counts don't necessarily judge the activity in a game, in my opinion. I don't believe that that's the case. And then I think another thing a lot of people pretty much equate viewership to is how well a game has done. Ladies and gentlemen, for a game to be successful means people have to actually buy it. If they've deleted the game, it does not affect the sales of the game. They've purchased the game. I think once we look at that from that economic perspective, it really does make a lot of sense. So think about this. I bought Godfall and I haven't played more than 5 hours of the game. Did Godfall basically not make any money? It did. It's just sitting in my library collecting dust and will most likely never be played. For those who've said I've dropped the division or whatever, I can understand you not being satisfied with the game. I've played games that I've not been satisfied with and dropped them. I couldn't even refund them. And they're just going to be sitting there gathering dust. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really judge to that aspect of the game where people are saying, well, it just seems like the game is dead. Who is that affecting really? And I think some people translate that to, oh, that might be affecting content creators and viewership numbers are low. And I also wanted to go ahead and discuss this because, and as I said, it might be a little uncomfortable, but I want to go ahead and just put it out there because 98% of your content creators in the division community actually do not do this primarily for the money or the financial benefit. Let me go ahead and basically reveal something to you. A lot of the content creators in this community actually are regular people like you. They get up every day in the morning or at night, they go to work their shift or work their daily schedules, come back, fire up this game, talk about it, play it, and make contents to serve you. They're just like you. They're family people. They're making videos. Kids are shouting. Kids are crying. They're making videos. They have to go to the grocery store. They have to do their honey-do lists. All of those things that you encounter, they encounter it too, and at the same time are still able to put out content. So if you think about the dynamics of what it takes to be a division content creator, it's actually a very, very simple and very interesting one. And the audience for the division is not necessarily like the audience for many of your other games. I see a lot of times people will compare the division to GTA numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, majority of the GTA players don't even have, let me not say something that's insulting, but may not have the temperament to play a game like the division. Think about it. We sit here and we count numbers all day and gear and all that stuff. That's stuff that like grown people do. Like we're talking about 35% health on kill and all this nonsense stats. There are people where if I explain the division to them, they're like, oh, I don't want that. I mean, they literally check out because those things do not appeal to them. I'm not saying that they don't have the interest, but to them, when they want a game, they require much more simpler systems. So the division is actually not necessarily, in quote, a popular game. It's a niche game. It's a game that, or niche, whatever you call it, it's a game that sticks to a specific gameplay and audience in order for it to thrive. So right now, if many people translate, oh, the lack of viewership as the division is so dead or, YouTubers are going to be this, I would say what you're seeing is the fact that many division agents do not need your consent to play the game. They'll play the game when they want to play the game, or they'll not play the game when they do not want to play the game. And that's exactly what the division community has always been. It's always been in the light of that. So I think at this stage, many community members need to understand who their audience is as fellow members of the community and their content creators. We're not like other looter shooters. That's not the case. The Division is not like Destiny's community, where we have more Destiny content creators that seem to be full-time content creators that are in that space and able to basically survive and, make their living on just covering Destiny content. The Division is not like that. The audience for the Division is very specific as well. So when you think about all of this, it really does make a whole lot of sense that we have these trends as a community when it comes to the popularity of this game. But here's the thing. I don't think the Division even really did have a huge marketing appeal like Destiny did from the launch and from the onset. I think the Division was basically Massive's first breakthrough into what gaming was. For the longest time, they had been some sort of a support studio. They had made their own games, but I think this was basically their, showcase to the world. Like, hey, we're here. We're no longer making helping make DLCs for Assassin's Creed Revelations or something, which they actually did. I watched the video from like 2012 where they actually were making Massive literally was making DLC for Assassin's Creed. Can you imagine that? Massive of Star Wars and Avatar was making DLC at one time. And so this is basically the history that this studio has actually gotten. And now they're making their own proprietary IPs. So this is the second try for them. I don't think anybody expects that some people did, not me anyways. I didn't expect them to be able to nail it and knock it out of the park on the second try. In fact, I'm thinking Massive's best game is still yet to come, even though the Division, I say, is a decent game. But when you weigh all of this, and when you look at the community, and when you look at the kind and the nature of the game, I think what you're seeing is a very decent community so far. Vocal, passionate in some cases, but still a community that really understands the game that they like, understand that it's a love-hate relationship, and are still going to be here. And if another content piece comes out or another iteration comes out, there's still this community that's going to be here that wants to engage with the game. I don't think that really does affect much of what's going on. If anything, this is kind of the best time to join the Division community and be a content creator. I joined the Division as a content creator when it was going through a lot of issues. I joined when, things were not in its golden, age or whatever it is. I came into the community and I started making videos and talking about the game. In quote, everybody told me the game was dead. You just think about being a content creator and everyone keeps telling you the game is dead. You should move on. And I just laughed and said, I'm not doing this because the game is bubbling. I'm doing this because I like the game. That's the difference, with doing content that you love. My fellow content creators will tell you, many of them have tried to make videos for other games and they did not like those games. In fact, I almost want to go out on a limb and say the reason you're not seeing a lot of those games on their channels is because they just could not do it. They love the Division, and so it's easy, it's fun, it's a great challenge and a great aspect for them to make content for the game. And so they're doing it out of just the joy of doing content for this game. But I don't want to speak or presume that I know everybody else's situation in that case, but I think it largely will mostly reflect what we're seeing in our community. But I wanted to have this discussion with y'all, man. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you really think that this game is dead and no one's going to play it and, all the Division content creators are going to die? There are other games out there. Do you really think we're freaking out? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace.